Last year, Final Fantasy VII Remake taught us what the gold standard for remakes could be. Sure, it adds stuff, but it reinterpreted the feeling of the original game in a way that makes it feel like a true modern title. One of the most praised aspects is the music, recreating the works of Nobuo Uematsu from 1997. And now the game's soundtrack has received a particularly high honor, being awarded Soundtrack Album of the Year at the Japan Gold Disc Awards. This is usually an award given to Western films or anime, but this time, for the first time since Persona 4 Golden's soundtrack in 2013, it's gone to a video game. As well as the Japan Gold Disc Award, the game was also honoured at the Game Awards for Best Soundtrack, which was received by Keiji Kawamori, the music supervisor, on behalf of the rest of the team. And it is a large team for a large soundtrack. Not only were there 14 different composers, but there were also 16 arrangers who worked on redefining Uematsu's original score. In fact, despite Remake only covering the Midgar section of the original game, it has a larger soundtrack than the original. This is for two reasons. Firstly, there are brand new tracks. In fact, even Uematsu returned to compose the end credits music. But the second reason is the bigger one. While they're saving some iconic tracks for later on, the tracks that they do rearrange have several versions. Most obvious is the iconic battle music, which was arranged at least 5 different times to suit different parts of the game. When they were first starting out on Remake, producer Yoshinori Kitase made a video basically showing what scenes would be in the game, and then he put some of the original Final Fantasy VII music there. But instead of just doing a new version of the original soundtrack, they instead used Kitase's video as a basis and crafted new versions of each track based on the scene in which it appears. For instance, the battle theme feels different in the opening chapter because it's arranged in a way that's welcoming you back to the game. Likewise, the main theme has different versions that aptly fits the mood of the world. And these didn't just have to be composed based on the scene itself, but also the progression of the scene. One of the important parts about modern game music is that it changes based on your actions, like moving through the stage or getting into a battle. And so they prepare different versions of the same track, which will then smoothly transition into a different version that fits the pace of the scene. The sound team is all about storytelling. In this way, they weren't just pursuing nostalgia. It's not about having tracks that only older audiences will understand the significance of, but instead about using this iconic soundtrack to build something new that anyone can enjoy. There's still tracks in there that I didn't realize were arrangements, just because they fit so well into this new vision and in many cases are made into entirely different genres of music. So when you consider all of that, it's no surprise that they needed so many musicians to help create this ambitious soundtrack. And of course, they went above and beyond by creating even more tracks than they needed to serve as collectibles. In his acceptance speech for the Gold Disc Awards, producer Yoshinori Kitase said that this game inherits the music of the original Final Fantasy VII 23 years ago, and I think that's a good word. The original soundtrack is a gift. From there, it's up to the remake team to decide how to use it. Thanks for watching OTAQUEST in Japan. Feel free to subscribe to find out more about the art and creation of Japanese pop culture.